Hello, 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 my Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for April 2020. I am your reader for the moment, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mel for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and Pisces Moon. Hello, my Mer family. Mer. You ready to rock and roll? You ready to go for the deep dive? Let's get some stuff out of the way. Number one, if you're new to the channel, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment below. I love to get feedback. I love to know, particularly from my Piscean fishy family, what's going on, what they're feeling about all this stuff. And I've gotten some really, really good replies and comments. They light me up, right? And make me feel like I'm helping a little bit, you know? Other than that, please remember this is a general read, right? It's not a private read. I've been having private readings all week. Everybody's at home, so I've been doing lots of private readings, and I'm very easy to book. You just kind of email me at drawingthecircle@gmail.com or reach out to me on Facebook or whatever. However you want to get to me, I'm pretty easy to find. So check your signs, right? Check your other signs. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. You're intuitive, so you know what resonates and what doesn't in your own belly. But if it triggers you, just notice that, right? Because later on it might make sense in a way that you didn't expect it to be. A lot of times what we feel is just a sense of change, and then the psychology fills in the blanks as something bad or loss or something, and we don't really know, right? It's just change. But we are mutable water, so we can change the way we feel about anything given enough time and enough focus. That being said, this is a Path of True Love reading, which if you're not new to my channel, you know, is about, you know, your spiritual path, your healing path, your hero's journey through your relationships. This time it's a little bit different because we are sheltering in place. Maybe the romantic sexual aspect isn't as readily available, let's put it that way. So, the divine pantheons that I work with made it clear. It's like, well, why don't you do this series about how to mate with your own soul, how to be your own soulmate, how to love yourself. Soulmates help each other heal so that they can help their souls heal them, right? They can integrate with their soul and heal their ego and their pain in a little bit of a different guidance way in terms of the spread. So I said, all right. So they gave me the spread. It's only 10 cards. I think you'll dig it. And I'm trying to keep it brief because everybody's on the internet and upload times are ridiculously long. And that's not the fault of YouTube. That's just, I live in a condo development. So, you know, it's like everybody's on the internet. Kids taking classes in school and parents working and whatever. So it's just me and the boys here on lockdown. We're doing good. So let's do this. I'm just going to ask you to breathe as we go. Be in the present moment. Partner with your breath through this. I'll do the same so I can get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I love to get for everybody, not just my Pisces, but my Pisces in particular. You're true to my heart. I'm a Pisces moon, close to my heart. And if you're doing the same, partnering with your breath, you will be able to feel what resonates and what doesn't. Cool. So we're going to start with Caroline Myss Archetypes cards, just one card, and I'll call out the other decks as we go. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom. Let's do this. Breathe. Feels so good. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one card in clarity. What is the perfect archetype, the perfect soul power for the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, myself included, to alchemize from lead to gold, from light to shadow for April 2020 on the Path of True Love? That one really wanted to come. Flipped over in the deck in my hands. We're going to go with that one. Let's see what's going on for April 2020. The student archetype. Now, personally, I'm a brilliant teacher. I was a horrible student. I'm what's called an autodidact, which means self-taught, self-teacher. I taught myself how to read cards, eating books throughout the 80s and the 90s on every spiritual topic I could get my hands on that resonated, right? So the student, I'm like, meh, meh, but let's have a look. The shadow attribute. Arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, right? It's like, well, I'm just going to learn how to blow this shit all up, right? Unwillingness to translate knowledge into action, which is something that I find particularly abhorrent in a student. Don't get me started on the Four Agreements. Not the Four Agreements themselves or Don Miguel Ruiz. He's a blessing. But, you know, people read the Four Agreements and then they'll take something personally that I say or do. I'm like, but you study and you even talk about the 4 agreements. They're like, well, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. I'm like, you're still taking it personally. It drives me up a wall. So I'm taking it personally. Light attribute, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Now that I can get along with in terms of spiritual learning, and in terms of even this YouTube journey that I'm on, always learning something new about it. So that I can absorb that for myself. So look, here's the great thing. If everything's a learning curve, my Pisceans, go with the Piscean flow, right? You don't have to take it all so personally, but are you putting what you learn into action is the question, because without action, knowledge just stays knowledge. It doesn't alchemize into wisdom. Just saying, I didn't make that rule. Let's ask the angels what they say about that, because we're students. I got that, but let's see what the Healing with the Angels Oracle from Doreen Virtue has to say about that, the help that we're getting from the angelic Pantheon's kingdom. Call it what you want. Nice deep breath. Oh, so good. My angels, please, 1 card in clarity for the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for April 2020. Please, what is the healing with the angels available for them to mate with their own soul, to be their soulmate on the path of true love? This one. For April 2020. Intention. What do you intend to study? Since so many of us are cut off from our usual modes of external activity, yang, right, energy going out, what is it that we can learn? What is it that we can study? What's coming in? Now, intention for me isn't just about what you want. It's also about why you want it. So, for example, if I want to learn, I don't know, I'm really enjoying Matt Kahn's new book, The Universe Always Has a Plan. It's really good, and I am, in a sense, studying it. There are mantras, there are exercises, I guess you could say. There are exercises like think about every person who's done this, 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 and this, and, you know, that kind of stuff. I dig that. So I'm always down for a deeper mystical exploration, but why? Because it's so emotionally fulfilling. I have broken down into the tears of love of God. It's something that you can't explain, you just have to be there. The love of God is noun and verb. It's the only way I can express it. But as a Pisces, I feel it so deeply that it's like I don't even want to move. I don't care if I ever meet anyone ever again, if I'm living the rest of my life on lockdown. The feeling is so intense, right? So what do I want? A deeper experience of the divine, a closer walk with thee. Why? Because it's so emotionally satisfying and blows the water out of anything else this world has to offer. See what I'm saying? So to study your intention, or check your intention to study. Do you have humility and devotion to knowledge and an openness to lifelong learning? Because if there's something about humility and a lifelong willingness to learn that in a way makes you invulnerable to humiliation. Right? Because it's like, well, I'm just here to learn. I never said I knew it all. I say all the time, never said I was perfect. Poof, that kind of hubris the gods don't like very much. And then they go about proving how imperfect you are. And yet, in a certain way, from the divine point of view, we're all perfect in process where we are, right? So to learn that, or do you have an intention to learn how to be your own soulmate, the mate of your soul, which gives you such an interior strength that no matter what anybody else says or does, with time and in practice, it's okay. You become unconditionally loving. The path of true love is ultimately about becoming the love that you truly are. Oh, it's so flowery, isn't it? Let's get 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, my favorite element spread. God, I was reading this in bars in the 80s to cokeheads in Boston. Woo, girl, a long time ago. A lot has changed. I haven't touched cocaine since the 80s. I'm so proud of myself. Well, I mean Coca-Cola, different kind of drug, caffeine and sugar. Usually I use this deck only for the Divine Feminine, for the Voices of the Goddess. This time I am working with the gods, the Divine Masculines, just for brevity. Like I said, upload time's been murder on my sense of impatience, so truncating it a bit, but they still seem to be working real well. Take a nice deep breath. Oh, my gods and my goddesses sacred, please, top 5 card element spread for the Piscean collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love. Can you please show us, fire, what they desire that will help them mate with their own soul? Earth, what they have to help them mate with their own soul. Air, what they're thinking. Water, what they're feeling. Same thing, to guide them into a deeper relationship with the divine that they truly are. And the card of Spirit, the point of view, or the card representing the soul itself, the voice or the point of view of the soul with which they are already mated but maybe not aware of. So please, my deities, my gods and goddesses, thank you very much. Just get that nice and solid there. Top 5 cards: Maiden, Mother, Crone. Thank you oh so very much, my gods and goddesses. Let's see your element of fire. What you want. The 6 of Blades. In this deck called Manipulation, and people recoil at that word. I get why. But it's an air card, so it's about changing your mind. It's about manipulating your mind, seeing things differently. And because it's a 6, it's about harmony and balance. So this could be about meditation. This could be about prayer. Prayer is definitely an element of air. Air prayer. It sounds like a really intense airline. Welcome aboard Air Prayer. Pray we get there safely. This is about spin. This is about looking at things differently. And ultimately, the prayer for a miracle, according to the Course in Miracles, is not give me a miracle, although that will work. I cannot call upon a miracle in vain. But it's helped me see this differently. So thinking about something differently, that's what you want. That's what you want. Your intention, a part of what your intention, and what better for a student, right, than to manipulate the mind, to see things differently. Particularly like with word puzzles and things like that, to test your mind, to kind of see not where the deficits are, but where there are weaknesses that could get stronger, right? Interesting. Let's see what you have in the element of earth, what you have with all of this. Okay, so I get this. Major Arcana card. In this deck, the Coyote Woman is part of the Devil card. It is the self-sabotage. It is the trickster. It is the tricks we play on ourselves and the divine plays on us so that we will what? Learn. So when we are unwilling students or arrogant students, or we learn but we don't apply, well, the universe, the gods, the goddesses have a way of rerouting us on the divine path to re-experience the same thing again and again and again. What I call chasing your tail, which is very much a coyote trick, right? But it's a trick that's to your benefit, as opposed to the other card in this deck, which is oppression, which is sometimes willingly staying in very toxic situations, in chains that you could easily walk away from, but you don't, right? That kind of toxic attachment. This is different. This is about maybe the universe has been playing tricks on us so that we really get the lesson, so that we really study. But that we still have the power of our intention here, what we want and why we want it. And in terms of what you want, to see things differently, you might very well see, but what if I look at it this way? Oh, that's what I need to do. You feeling me? I hope you are. What's going on in your element of air, considering the power of that card in your fire being an air card? Yeah, what's on our mind is the Ten of Flames, the Hora Hava, Nakila Hava, major rite of passage. We want what we want on the path of true love. We want that fulfillment. Now, I have been to Jewish weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. Never been to a bad one. The food's always good. I had this one where they froze oranges, cut them in half, scooped out a good chunk of the orange and used them to do shots of vodka out of. Oh my God, I barely remember anything else after that. I'm not a big vodka drinker. But you make it tasty. I'll drink just about anything. So, you know, this is a rite of passage dance, right? Weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, right? That it's about you reached a certain level and this Ten of Flames will reboot with the Ace of Flames and you start all over again. So it's probably on our mind. I know on the path of true love there are certain people and relationship structures that I've been really doing a lot of healing over, letting go of people that I needed to let go of, both in tribally as well as one-on-one dynamic, and just really wanting that sense of the fulfillment of my desire. And of course, being on lockdown, living alone, through what we're going through on planet Earth right now, it's going to be on my mind, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. It's like, I shouldn't be thinking about this. Think about it, but think about it differently. That's what you really want. Interessant. What's going on in the element of water for us fishies? Well, now, the Aquarian card. Don't get too tight on that, because the court cards in this deck, it says Aquarian on, and I'm not also going to Gemini and Libra. I'm keeping it within the realm of Aquarius. May not always so much be about another person. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Uranus. Let's keep my anus out of this, shall we? But it can certainly be that they're having an emotional trigger to you. The emotions are already there, but they're putting you in touch with something. Now, honestly, all the Aquarians that I can think of in my life, I'm such dear friends with, that it's really not. There's no trigger there. But if you look at what 11th house is, humanitarianism, larger picture, fixed air, like the stratosphere. That's why they're so egalitarian. Funny, the eagle woman, egalitarian. Eagle flies highest and sees the biggest picture, right? Sees the largest landscape. Well, technically, someone told me the albatross does that, but you know, the albatross I view as, it's just not as poetic as the eagle I view. You get me? So there's something here. She's got scissors in her hands, by the way, that we see large enough so we see what to kind of clip. So it might very well be that these two cards, both being air, your fire and your water both being air, that this is a time of what? Study and contemplation. Perhaps studying what it is you want and why it is that you want it. Not that you're chasing your own tail for no purpose, but that maybe your what and your why has changed, and what you want is certainly on your mind in terms of the fulfillment of it. But maybe there are some things that we need to see differently here. Maybe there are some people that we need to forgive. Maybe there are things that we have been seeing as hostile to us that are actually friendly. That everything is here to teach us, but we don't always see it that way. And it's not like we're being punished by having something repeat over and over and over again, the chasing of the tail, getting nowhere, but we are always getting somewhere. Every revolution of the tail chasing, we're learning, we're learning, we're learning, we're learning. We can't get it wrong. We really have done nothing wrong. No one really has done anything wrong from the soul's perspective, because it's all a learning curve. We're all students. We're all learning who we truly are. We still are these magnificent beings of the divine, but deliberately chose to play these roles, or were chosen to play these roles. And humans forget play the game, right? It's like if you think of this world as a great, big, complex, holographic video game, that we came in to have certain experiences, to learn, to reawaken to the truth of who we are. And the path of true love is all about that, but through relationships, which means gain and loss, right? Heartbreak and heart healing, intimacy and separation, the whole nine. It's just part of the process of alchemy, which is all about heat and intensity. People want to think, they think about the ascension process. I'm going to ascend into the fifth dimension. It means you have to boil and transform all that separation consciousness. So what is heartbreak but disappointment over loss? But there can be no loss ultimately in a unified field. See? A lot to think about. But particularly in the path of true love. This feels good, that perhaps the lessons are right in front of us and we're in this time of isolation for a greater purpose to sort of get it on a different level. And that's not all intellectual, by the way. Let's see what's going on. Point of view, voice of the soul. The Cancerian card. So, Cancerian, fourth house, is the home. Again, could be somebody. My mom is a Cancerian. She's really the only Cancerian I'm close with that I talk to every day. So yeah, could be Mark, call your mother, but I do every day. So this is more about do the emotional work at home. Be at home within your own emotions. Love what rises. Mother yourself, right? Father, we need to have this discussion about what it means to father yourself, because I need to mother myself comes off the tongue so easily, but because of the toxicity of the patriarchy over the past, 2,000-3,000 years, we might have a bitter taste in our mouth about the idea of fathering ourselves. But, Cancerian is the mother, unconditional love, but the divine father, the father of the zodiac, is Capricorn, the setter of limits, the teacher, and often life as the teacher of hard knocks. So it is about supporting, protecting, and defending ourselves, setting boundaries. Yeah. Ethical boundaries in particular. On the path of true love are just essential. I'm sort of flirting with somebody online. We talked on the phone last night, and lives kind of far away, not too far away, maybe an hour's drive. And I said to him, look, if you want to come and visit and stay the night and we're not into each other that way. I have a pull-out couch. I'm not going to touch you, right? He goes, oh, that's very sweet of you. I go, no, I made vows to my gods. I'm not allowed to do anything but walk the fucking high road anymore. Otherwise, I get the Monty Python Deus Ex Machina foot, right? The foot of God squash me, which, you know, can be anything from a stubbed toe to complete devastation. No thanks. That's not punishment. That's a vow. It's like, I want to walk the high road all the way, all the way, all the way home, particularly in my relationships. All sorts of kind of relationships. Why? Because I'm a little gung-ho about this spiritual path thing, considering I dedicated my life to it. Let's ask the Ascended Masters then, through the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. 4 different suits in this deck: the suit of problem, the suit of luck, the suit of healing, and the suit of grace. Let's see what the Ascended Masters say for you to focus on, right? To help you be the mate of your own soul, which all of this is clicking so far. Nice deep breath. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Please, my Ascended Masters, 1 card in clarity for the Piscean Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. On the path of true love for April 2020, what is it that they need to be aware of, to focus of, to tune to embrace, to be the mate of our own souls? I'll keep it in the we. For April 2020, to deal with loss. Look, nobody likes to grieve, but we've all loved and lost, right? Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Funcool, right? Pain in the ass that is. But it's true, nobody gets away without the wounds of loss. There's wounds of abuse, there's wounds of neglect, there's wounds of codependence, but maybe by some miracle those 3 have never touched you in this life. I don't see how. But nobody gets away without a wound of loss, or 2 or 10,000. So perhaps there is some processing here that needs to go on to see this differently so that we can heal, because we really do want our that Hora card, that 10 of Flames, but perhaps we have been chasing our own tail, because though we could probably tell you all about forgiveness, we go tell you about emotional healing, being the fishies that we are. Is our intention to really heal, or do we come really close and then back off? Which I don't think is a sin or anything like that. I just think that's part of the process. But grief is love that doesn't know where to go, because the object of love's affection has disappeared, gone through death, divorce, or distance. And you know what? I've discovered all 3 of them equally suck. Like, it's, oh, death, that's the worst. It's like, well, divorce is pretty horrible too, as is distance, and not just physical distance. When you're sitting in the same room with the person and you're both billions of miles away from each other, that's hard, right? Loss of faith, loss of trust, that kind of. Let's move on then. Perfect that we're going to look at the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. Also, the voices of the Ascended Masters. We're double dipping with the Masters. That sounds like a TV show. Double dipping with the Masters. Enjoying the Circle Productions YouTube channel. Let's ask them. My Ascended Masters. 1 card in clarity for us Piscean Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love of all things. Can we please have a Healing Mantra card about us being on the path of true love and wanting to mate with our own souls, which is just a necessary part of this process. Nobody gets to go higher and move on unless they're mated with their own souls, which, by the way, makes us better soulmates in our soulmate contracts. So please, the Ascended Masters, what is the perfect healing mantra for the Piscean Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, March 2020, on the path of true love, so we can mate our own souls, be our own soulmates? Now, one side of the card is the name of the mantra, the other the mantra itself. Cultivating courage. This has come up a few times. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. Cultivating courage. Now, the reason why I say it's got the name on one side, the mantra on the other, so I can look it up in ye old bookie book. And thank you, Matt Kahn, if you ever watch my stuff. I believe he's a Pisces, I've heard. I doubt he watches YouTube readings. He seems to have his spiritual, mystical act together. But I'm really, really thankful for his work. His new book and this deck are really good companions. And I'm not getting any kickback from him or Hay House. Nope. Doing this purely out of the goodness of my witchy little heart. Cultivating courage. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. When courage is cultivated, you are aware of your choices and able to pinpoint your most inspired options with accuracy and ease. Living on your own is very easy to do, sort of. Such options may not always match up with the things that you want. Like, Mark, lay down, take a nap, do not make another video until you're feeling better. That's a harder option to make when you're on a deadline. Well, I'm also a Virgo. But they will always give you the exact experiences you need to further evolve your soul. So while it may not evolve my bank account, it is certainly evolving my soul. This shutdown that we're all going through, I think you'll agree. As you cultivate courage, you are stepping into a new frontier of soul expansion where life has permission to guide you forward into the fulfillment of your long-awaited destiny. Lift me up on a chair, please. Into the fulfillment of your long-awaited destiny. This mantra is ideal for breaking old habits, deepening your focus, and following your heart, which is what courage means. Courage, le cœur, j'aime le cœur, docteur, which means I'm going to throw up. Doctor, it's not a good correlate, but it's the only phrase in French that I know that has that word in it. So, loss and cultivating courage is like, even though we have lost, well, we cultivate the courage to keep moving forward on the path of true love. I'm going to say yes if we can really see this differently and see ourselves as students refining our intention. Not just, well, we want a boyfriend. It's one thing to say, no, I want to learn, heal, grow, and become the best that I can be and be the mate of my own soul so I can be more loving in all my relationships. That's a pretty good intention that the gods, the angels, the masters, and the higher selves are going to get behind, but it takes immense courage, and we absolutely have to heal our own emotional baggage in terms of loss. Last card down, then we'll look at an overview from the Whispers of Love Oracle. The voices of the higher selves, mine included. Let's do this. Breathe. Oh, so ready for another nap. Pisces moon. Please, the higher selves of all involved, one card in clarity for the Piscean collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for April 2020. What's going on for us so we can mate with, that we can mate with our own souls, be our own soulmates. These decks are this deck is particularly very direct with this kind of thing. Be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. So there is a directive from the higher self, be supportive. Now I gotta tell you, I'm a spiritual counselor, honey. I'm supportive all day and night. Am I supportive of myself? Doing the best that I can. When I'm particularly dealing with grief, I tend to be very supportive of myself. But otherwise, when it comes to my schedule, my recording schedule, my getting myself together for my clients, because I just can't roll out of bed and do a reading for somebody or, take a spiritual counseling client, I have to make sure I'm supported first, right? Put the mask on yourself before you put it on anybody else, that kind of thing. But I think in general, be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. I have been reaching out to friends and calling people, trying to return messages as soon as possible, people who are trying to support me to reciprocate in that way. But I think overall for an entire month where everyone needs our support, though it may not always be literal physical support in that way, it can certainly be emotional support and understanding, being how empathic we are. But also, if you're getting empathic overload, mate with your own soul. That means love yourself, support yourself, take breaks, sleep, rest, take care of you. Take care of you. Kit DeLuca. All right, let's give you an overview and see what pops. Ready? Magic clap. Ooh, that was loud. Ooh, a piece of candy. We start with the student archetype, shadow attribute, arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action, which is very much like chasing your own tail like we see in the Coyote card. The light attribute, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning, which might very well be that Six of Blades. But before we get there, really to address the angel in the room, the angel of intention, that we have an ability to heal our intention. The angels, the angelic realms are helping us heal our intention, which is very much power of fire. And what do we have in the element of fire here in your element spread? The Six of Blades, rethinking, right? Balancing the mind, spin, seeing it differently. Come here, Sabby Head. Come on, come up with Mama. No, you're just going to sit under my chair so I can't get you? Oh, fuck. Come on, get up on the chair. Come sit with me. Fine, delay the reading. The Pisceans are waiting. So there's that spin of the Six of Blades in your fire position, that seeing things differently, that mental balance. In your element of fire, we have the Coyote Woman, your one and only major arcana card. And as I said, it's half of the Devil card in this deck. Really looking at self-sabotage, the saboteur archetype in a lot of ways, but also really feeling the chasing of our own tails, really trying to figure and feel things out on this particular lesson on the path of true love, whatever it may be for each of us, spinning our tails so that we can get it right. Keeping in mind that what's on our mind is the Ten of Flames. We just want to complete this. We want the fulfillment of our desires. Come on, it's time. I've been working. I've been doing this for so long. I've done the work. I've put in the hours. That kind of thought going on there, that it's really about, we might be focused more on the goal, the end result, than where we are right now on the path. But in our emotions there's definitely that reintroduction of the element of air with the Aquarian card, Ixchel, the Eagle Woman, she who flies highest sees furthest, but also carries a scissor to clip away that which no longer serves, so that we may not have to keep chasing our tail. Maybe we need to see what we've been doing, that we've been stuck in a rut in some way. But it's all a divine trick for the betterment of our souls, even if our personalities can't stand it. And then we have at the top of this spread the Cancerian card, definitely telling us that the emotions here are key. It is the only water sign going on here, water card in the spread, but it is about the home, not just the house. Fourth house Cancerian is the home. It's also about being comfortable with your own emotions, being comfortable in your own skin. Moving on, there we have from the Ascended Masters the card of loss from the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, that we really need to kind of look at the problems that we have carried with us in terms of loss, and really, is it a problem or is it just grief that we've been dealing with, that we haven't had the time or the know-how or willing to study what's going on in our own energy field of loss, that we are able to solve this problem by moving through it. How? By cultivating courage. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do, and I do feel like that's more intuitive for us, with the support coming from the higher self also asking us to be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. That was my magic clap because I grabbed Sabby. Here's my Sabby kitty. My crabby cat. He's my Cancerian. This is why he doesn't come up, because I love him so much. Yeah, we're store crazy. Go on, baby. I'll feed you guys in a bit. So, may the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need this April 2020 on the path of true love, that we may learn through the student, that we may clarify our intention, that we may heal our loss, cultivate courage, be supportive of ourselves and others by seeing things differently, particularly if we've been spinning our own wheels too much, if we've been chasing our own tail, so we can really go deeper into that desire of fulfillment, cut away which no longer serves, and we see the larger picture and mate with our own souls through an open, loving heart. May we be so blessed, the Piscean collective. So mote it be, and so it is. Thank you so much for watching my Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, my fishy family. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed of the path of true love for April 2020. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.